Okay, I'm going to do this video on a little content a little higher than I usually have done on this channel. But I'm going to be looking at how do you know if lines are parallel or perpendicular? But we're going to be looking at, um, I'm not going to be drawing the lines because we know that if a line is perpendicular and we're looking at it, you have one line and another line intersecting and forming a right angle. And we know parallel lines are straight lines that never touch and they're equal distant apart from each other. Those would be parallel. But how could we know if lines are perpendicular and parallel if it's written in slope intercept formula? So if you haven't already, give this channel a follow, and here we go. Okay, so we're going to look at two lines here. Okay, first one it's giving me is 2y equals negative 18x minus 36, and 3x minus 27y equals 18. All right. What we have to keep in mind is we have to know that our slope-intercept formula here is y equals mx plus b, and we have to know that the m is the slope. Okay, so we have to put it into this formula, this equation for a line first to determine what the slope is. Okay, we cannot just look over here and think that our slope is negative 18 and negative 27. Okay, so let's get this started. So I'm just going to jot down these two equations on the next page. 2y equals negative 18 minus 36, and I'm going to draw my line down the middle and go 3x minus 27y equals 18. All right, here we go. So the first thing I need to know and remember is that I want to get the y by itself. So just to show you, I'm going to jot down over here y equals mx plus b. Okay, this is our line. Okay, so you will see over here I have the 2 attached to the y, 2y. So I need to do the inverse operation. To get rid of that 2, I am going to divide by 2. When I divide by 2, that will cancel out the 2's and leave me with 1y, which is what I need, y equals. But now, if we've divided by 2 on the left-hand side, I need to divide by 2 to each one of my terms. And here I did not jot down, and I'm going to put it in right here. That is 18x. Okay. Yes, I had that. I just wanted to double check. So, and I have to divide this term by 2. So let's get going. Negative 18x divided by 2. Negative 18 divided by 2 is going to be negative 9, and we'll have negative 9x. Now we have minus, minus 36. Divide that by 2 will give us minus 18. So I now have y equals negative 9x minus 18. And while we're working on this problem, I can identify that my slope will be negative 9. So my m equals negative 9, because that is the term that's attached to the x. So my slope is negative 9, or we could write it negative 9 over 1, either or. Now, let's move to the right-hand side to this equation. So remember, I want to get the y by itself. So I could move the y to the left-hand side over here, which it's already there, or I could move it to the right-hand side to get it by itself. It doesn't make a difference, but me personally, I like to view it with the y, our y-intercept on the left-hand side. So the first thing I'm going to do is I have here 3x. There is no positive or negative sign, and we know if a term doesn't state whether it's positive or negative, it is a positive. So to move over that positive 3x, I'm going to do minus 3x. that will cancel that term out. But now I'm bringing that term onto the other side, minus 3x. Okay, so now what I am left with is negative 27y equals, and I'm going to write it because remember down here, it's mx plus b. So I want to have that negative 3x term first, and the 18 is a positive 18 because there is no positive or negative, so we know it's a positive. So that would be positive 18. Now I still need to get that y by itself. So to get that y by itself, I am now going to divide by negative 27. If I divide by negative 27, that cancels out, and I'm left with positive 1, and it's 1y. We don't need to write the 1y. We could just leave it as y. But now if I've divided the left side by negative 27, I need to divide both other terms by negative 27. So now negative 3 divided by negative 27 is going to give you a positive number. And our greatest common factor here is going to be negative 3. So if I divide negative 3 divided by negative 3, I'm going to get 1. And negative 27 divided by negative 3, I'm going to get 9. So it would be 9x. Now this last term, when we've already found our slope, but I'm just going to finish it out. And 18, positive 18 divided by negative 27, our greatest common factor here is going to be 9. So I'm going to, we know it's going to be a negative because a positive divided by a negative is a negative. 18 divided by 9 is 2, and 27 divided by 9 will be 3. So I'm left with y equals 1/9 x minus 2/3. All right. So now we take a look. We have both of our slopes. We have negative 9 over 1, and we have 1/9 x. So our slope is 1/9 x. So if I go back here, so we know it's the first equation will be what I say. My slope was negative 9 over 1. Okay, so my slope, let me change color, will be, sorry, one more time, negative 9 over 1. So m equals negative 9 over 1. And then our slope for this second equation is just going to be 1/9 x. Now, here you go. When your slopes are the same, if the slopes were equal to each other, they would be parallel, which makes sense because two straight lines, they're going to be the same slope no matter what. So they would be equal to each other. Are my two slopes here equal to each other? Well, this is negative 9 over 1, and this is 1/9 x. So they're not equal to each other. But perpendicular slopes will be the opposite reciprocal. If you flip your numerator and denominator over, and if it was positive, turn it to negative. If it was negative, it would be positive. They would be opposite each other. Well, we know here, this is negative 9 over 1. So if you flip over the 9 over 1, you're left with 1 over 9. And the reciprocal, the opposite, this is negative, this is positive. So they are opposite each other, negative and positive. And the reciprocal of 9 over 1 is 1 over 9. So these are, if we go back, oh, that's our main screen. Are they perpendicular or parallel? They are perpendicular to each other. Hope that video helped on how to know if lines are parallel or perpendicular when it's given in slope-intercept formula or form. Give it a like.